So, what is an object? I mean, really, think about it for a second. The phone in your hand, the number 7, the idea of justice, are they all the same kind of thing? It sounds like such a simple question, but it's actually one of the deepest, most fascinating puzzles in all of philosophy.
Okay, let's dive right in. For this explainer, we're actually going on a quest. A quest to figure out what philosophers are even talking about when they use the word object, a category that, believe it or not, might just include everything that exists.
And, right out of the gate, we hit a bit of a wall. The brilliant logician Gottlieb Frege basically said that object might be so fundamental, so incredibly simple that you can't even break it down to define it. But hey, that doesn't mean our quest is over. It just makes it way more interesting. If we can't define it directly, we have to understand it by looking at the huge ideas that surround it.
So, the first big idea is something called the umbrella view, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. Just picture this giant umbrella that covers everything that could possibly exist. Your desk, the planet Jupiter, the number 3, the concept of love, even something that doesn't exist, like a chimera. If you can think about it or talk about it, boom, it's under the umbrella. It's an object.
But that leads to a huge puzzle, right? If object is just a label we can stick on everything, does the word even do anything? Does it help us understand reality any better? I mean, if there aren't any non-objects to compare them to, the word itself starts to feel a little, well, empty. So here's the crucial thing. To understand what an object is, we first have to figure out what it isn't.
All right, so that's our first step on this quest. We have to try and draw a line in the sand. If that whole umbrella view isn't the complete story, then what's on the other side of that line? What are the things that aren't objects?
The most fundamental line that philosophers draw is between objects and properties. It's really just the difference between things and the ways things are. So, for example, you have a specific tree in your backyard. That's the object. But the quality of it, being tall or being green, that's a property. The tree is the thing. Tallness is a way for a thing to be. Simple enough, right? And this table here really breaks down the key differences. An object, like a planet, is in one single place at one time. But a property, like being round, can be in tons of places all at once. It's on a basketball, a planet, an orange. Objects are concrete. They exist in space and time. But properties feel more abstract. You can see a planet, but can you really see the property of roundness all by itself? Not really. You only ever see round things. Okay, so we've drawn our line between objects and properties. Now we get to the next, even wilder phase of our quest, and a whole new question pops up. Just how many of these objects are there anyway? The answers get pretty weird, so let's check out the lineup of philosophical suspects. Suspect number 1 is existence nihilism. And get this, it's the most radical view you can imagine. There are 0 objects. None. Zip. Nihilists argue that our belief in separate objects is just a trick our minds play on us. They'd say objects are redundant. We can describe the world just fine without them. So instead of saying the computer is on, a true nihilist might say something like, it is computering here. Yeah, kind of mind-bending.
All right, if 0 objects is too much for you, how about suspect number 2? Existence monism. This view says there's exactly one object, the entire universe itself. This single massive object, which some people have playfully called the blobject, doesn't even have parts. Everything we see, you, me, the stars, we're not separate things. We're all just different features or ripples on the surface of this one single cosmic blob.
And finally, we get to suspect number 3, existence pluralism. And this is the common sense view that, let's be honest, pretty much all of us believe without even thinking about it. The world is just filled with lots and lots of different separate objects. There's a cup, a table, a car, a planet, a whole bunch of stuff.
So, we've got our suspects, 0, 1, or many. Now for the final stage of our investigation. Let's just assume for a minute that there are objects. What are they actually made of? It's time to perform a little philosophical autopsy.
And here we find another major split in philosophy. On one side, you have constituent ontologies. These theories say that an object's properties, its color, its shape, its weight, are literally parts of the object. The object is built from its properties. But on the other side, you have relational ontologies, which argue that properties are totally separate things and an object just has a relationship to them. Let's look a little closer at that first view. A really popular version is what you could call the layer cake model. You start with a foundation, this mysterious thing called a bare particular or a substratum that doesn't have any properties of its own.
Then you start stacking on layers of properties, a layer of redness, a layer of roundness, a layer of shininess, and voila, you've baked yourself a complete object, an apple.
A classic example of this built-from-parts idea is hylomorphism, which goes all the way back to Aristotle. It says an object is a compound of two things: its matter, the physical stuff it's made of, and its form, the structure or the essence that makes it the specific kind of thing it is. The form is kind of like the blueprint that organizes all the matter.
Now, let's flip to the other side. If objects aren't these complex layer cakes, what are they? Well, according to relational ontologies, they're just blobs, simple, unstructured things with no properties inside them at all.
So if an object is just a simple blob, how in the world does it end up being red and round? Well, in this view, the properties of redness and roundness exist totally separately from the object, maybe in some kind of abstract realm. The object doesn't contain them, it just sort of points to them or connects with them through this special relationship called instantiation. So the apple instantiates redness, but redness isn't a part of the apple.
So, after that whirlwind tour, what did we actually find on our quest? Well, we learned that the simple question, what is an object, just blows the doors open to a huge world of philosophical debate. We've seen that crucial difference between things and the ways things are. We've explored the wild possibilities that there could be zero, one, or many objects, and we've seen how objects could either be complex layer cakes built out of their properties or just simple blobs that relate to them.
And that brings us right back to where we started, but now with a completely new way of looking at things. Look at something simple near you, like the cup on your desk. After this whole journey, is it really what it looks like, one object among many? Or is it actually just a layer cake of properties all bundled together? Or, and this is the big one, is it maybe nothing more than a temporary ripple on the surface of the one and only object in the entire universe? The quest for an answer continues.